We live? We're gonna be live. I'm telling you what, I'm alive. All right, Henry McClure live. I want to get off to some early predictions about the spin cycle. So everybody's going to be all up in arms about the January 6th people getting pardoned. And I think that you haven't heard the last of what really happened with January 6th because now that Biden preemptively pardoned everybody with the January 6th committee. So why would you need a pardon if you didn't do anything wrong? Right? So the fact that they got pardoned means that he's got a guilty conscience and they acted inappropriately. And plus, it's not Biden anyway. That's the sad thing about it. It's the bureaucrats. It's the deep state that ran the government during the Biden administration. He could sit there like a stooge. Everybody, they said, look, it's going to be all right. Uh, everything's going to be fine. They told him, look, you've laundered more money out of the Ukrainian war to your children's children won't have to work. Trust funds have been set up, and so if the January 6th people got pardoned for their wrongdoings, that means that the January 6th prisoners were wrongfully prosecuted. Now, I'm just saying this slowly for some of you people that voted for Kamala. For those of you that think that are still asleep and attached to the matrix. So this is how it works. I'll say it slowly. Since Biden pardoned the people on the committee that wrongfully prosecuted all the people in jail, you can't bellyache over Trump pardoning the people that got wrongfully prosecuted and let them out of jail. Okay? You got that? Do you see how that works? Hello? Man, the changes that are going to take place, they're going to be good for everybody. Name one thing. Tell me one thing bad that's going to happen over not letting people across the border illegally. God, this is just the tip of the iceberg of what's gone on in our country. But everybody just needs to take a breath and know, and I'm telling you this, you're going to see J.D. Vance as the most active vice president you've ever seen. Trump's got a whole new aura around him about, I'll break it down to what some of you guys can understand. If you could think back what it's like to be a virgin, and then think about the second and the third time. Hey, you got a little more confidence. Hey, you know what I'm saying? So Trump in there, he's got a whole new aura around him. And it's not about him. It's not about him and his ego. Look, we all have egos. It's going to be about making sure that there's a couple of generations here of prosperity and a beautiful day. Nice speeches. I love to see the executive orders. The best executive order was get your ass back to the office. Hey, if you've got, so this is what Jerry Moran told me, that 44% of all federal government employees weren't even showing up to work. he said that 4% of all IRS agents never, they're not coming in the office. And think about downtown. We got a huge IRS office. You know, they need to be down there coming to work so they can socialize with all those laboratory guys that are going to be next to him in the AT&T building getting government subsidized with your taxpayer dollars. I think that's going to be one of the fun things I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the Go Topeka people's houses and come up with the value of their houses and I think you really probably got to look at how wealthy they are. And trust me, they don't understand what it's like. We're taxing people out of their homes. We're making it to where regular people, regular Americans, can't afford to live in their house, so these oligarchs can have a better lifestyle. The most shameful deal, is that AT&T deal. It is. It's the stinker. But let's also talk about the people that subsidized all the back taxes out in Lawrence Bay. Let's talk about that. Let's not forget that. Because what we really need to do is we need to let the citizens decide what happens to that. The citizens, the bonds aren't in default. The local taxpayers have made all those payments so those guys can live on a lake out there, their own private lake. You guys, you stooges, you better wake up. You stooges better wake up. Just the common people like me. I am today the Archie Bunker. I'm Archie Bunker now. I know that guy's a meathead. I met the dude. But seriously, we're the working class people. The working class stooges, us, we're paying the way so the oligarchs can have a better life. It's true. And I'm sick of it. I'm not going to, I'm going to keep, I feel like this is like, you know, hey, this is John Connor out there, when he survived the nuclear attack, right? Well, we got to hold the people running the government accountable, and that's Go Topeka. That's the Greater Topeka Partnership. That's the Chamber of Commerce, the Greater Topeka Chamber. We got to get Visit Topeka out of there. We've got to get downtown Topeka out of there. We've got to spread out who's making the decisions, who's running this town. The oligarchs shouldn't have their hand in everything. And the last thing I want my money to be going to, my sales tax dollars, subsidizing a stupid deal. You guys don't, you can say the hotel's stupid, but you're really not seeing the stupidity in this AT&T deal. Or maybe you are. They're equally as stupid. You better think about it. You better think. Think about what you're trying to do to me. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna venture out in the cold. I gotta uh, I gotta do a little shopping. I gotta get up early, and I'm looking forward to a friend coming into the studio because that's um, you can never have too many friends. If you look at my friends list, I don't even know who I say yes to. I know right now I'm being pushed out there due to all my postings. My last I look, my if you annualized my last 90 days of posts, I'm trending somewhere 1,500,000. 1,000,005 views on this page. Hey, by the way, this portion of the show is brought to you by Ichabod Washburn, and you can buy Ichabod. Uh, I'm willing to sell this, and I'm just gonna. Hey, you gotta. I don't know what it's worth, but if you'd like to have that in your den, I've had it enough. I think it's time. I want to get the whiteboards down here. Also, I've got one of my big projects I'm working on. Uh, I took it to the printer today. I'm going to send the PDF, but I'd like to get some poster size boards of my some other projects that I'm working on. But this is 111 by 60. It's got some screw holes in it on the side. It used to be down in Pizza Pub, but I want to get whiteboards down there to write down statistics and facts, and we can stand up and we can do math equations. We can, a great place to post the board of directors of Go Topeka and the Chamber and the Greater Topeka Partnership. I'd like to get Larry Walgast in here. Larry Walgast actually making phone calls to people that were going to vote for me to say, why in the hell are you voting for Henry McClure? What a country. Larry Walgast. What did Larry Walgast ever do? I don't even know where he came from. He has a burger named after him, from what I understand, at the Pennant, which I will never order, a Walgast. It sounds like, ooh, better hold the wall with gas. I don't know. But what did Larry Walgast ever do other than call some of the people that were voting for me and say, how could you be voting for Henry? But hey, but I pardon you today. Hey, I got you get a Henry McClure pardon. In fact, we'll never mention your name on my show again, Larry, because you're not worth it. Let's talk about that. I'll write that on the wall. Let it be written. We'll never mention that name again. It's kind of funny. But also, again, this is my show. But if you want to come in and sit right there in the guest chair, look, you got a microphone. Make this part of your bully pulpit. So I've tried to sell that. We got a closing tomorrow for Agape Village. I got 100 things to do on the list. Well, actually, not quite 100. I need to go back through my list tomorrow because I've actually marked up a couple. But look, watch the balls tonight. The golden age of America starts today. The golden age of America. Think about it. You can hate Donald Trump all you want. You can be resentful for him. You know, his dad was this, his dad was that. Yeah, I think at one time his dad might have been one of the richest guys in the country. Big developer back, built all the row houses in Queens or something like that. I think that's where didn't Archie Bunker live in Queens? We're blue dog Republicans. That's what we've become. Blue dog Republicans. Political correctness was invented to shut guys like me up. I think, was there an executive order did he sign today that there's only 2 genders? But I'm telling you something, besides an iconic footbridge, which is galactically stupid, that's like that lady that couldn't define a woman that's a Supreme Court justice. Hey, look, you know something? It's us versus them. And I really start thinking about the educational process. And my grandfather, Judge James A. McClure, didn't believe in separate but equal. But look at the downside of what's happened with Brown versus Board of Education. And the downside is we're not paying teachers enough to actually teach our kids. We need to be able, we need to figure out how we cut expenses. Hey, we've got the Senate, we've got the House under the dome here in Topeka. We got to replace Laura in the at Cedar Crest. We need to send her packing. But the real downside of white flight is all the expenses of all these different administrations. There's got to be a different way to do it. You keep the boards in place so there's public involvement from each one of the school districts, but we don't need an administration for every school district we have. We've got to figure that out. This is just the beginning. We got to start seeing this as stand up people. Hey, you're getting sick of real estate taxes. Well, you're going to have to tell me how Stormont Vale is a not for profit and they don't deserve to be exempt from real estate taxes. There's just no way. 85 properties. We've got to figure out how to broaden the tax base. And our people that yap about economic development, they're all full of, it's all sophistry. We're not broadening the tax base. We're not increasing the population. We're just making the oligarchs deals that make the oligarchs more money. Fight, fight, fight. Donald Trump is president of the United States. You can't take that away from us. The popular vote, baby. And once you start seeing how things can be different, and it's going to have to be companies like Newsmax getting out there on the border. Look into Newsmax. It's a whole different set of news. It's a whole different. Uh, it's for more conservative people. Donald J. Trump's president. Huh. Did you see all those pardons? And what some people don't really understand is since Joe Biden wasn't running the country, these are people that pay to play. They took payoffs. It's just the way the whole thing works, it's set up for corruption. The saddest thing whatsoever was the people that have been in jail just because they were Republicans. They were at the wrong place at the wrong time. That whole thing was a setup. Who knows? Some of you guys might start to believe that whole election was rigged, but Barry, I see I got a comment over there. President Trump is signing executive orders right now, commuting the sentences. Well, commuting the sentences is different than a pardon. Huh. Well, that's good news. There is a big difference in commuting the sentence and a pardon. That's just phase one, absolutely. I can't wait till Jim Jordan gets Liz Cheney in there, because I understand that she destroyed all sorts of January 6th evidence. Well, I got one viewer. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. I think I'm going to go down to Home Depot on the way home and look for some paint. I think I'm going to boil some Japanese sweet potatoes, following my Dr. Gundry diet. I got to get some. And if you're going to buy olive oil, this is what Dr. Gundry says. The only reason to eat is to consume olive oil. The second reason, if you're going to eat olive oil, you might as well lather them up in mushrooms. Feeding your gut buddies. Well, I got to get in shape, baby. The next 12 years are going to be hot. Oh, he's signing them right now. I've got it on.
I'm absolutely fine with it. We want to have it. We need it because we're going to have a lot of companies coming in to avoid tariffs. You know, if you.
Oh, he's got a whole desk full of executive orders.
In the U.S., so we're going to have a lot of workers coming in.
I don't want to. I got to turn this off, otherwise they'll mute. They'll mute. It'll be a mute. Well, it's good to see, man. He's got the Oval Office just full of people. When was the last time you saw Biden in the the Oval Office with people? Oh my. Zero transparency to all of a sudden, here we go. Well, I'm going to call it a night. She destroyed the evidence. You didn't know that? You didn't know that she destroyed evidence? Absolutely. She's a witch. her dad didn't her dad get blasted with a shotgun? Hey, Henry McClure live. Yeah, I did. You did. All right. I'm going to sign off, but thanks for tuning in.